Hey guys, Synthetic here and welcome back to the series where we try to make Daniel Ricciardo Drivers World Champion. And here you can see the drivers table after 8 rounds. We have a lead of over 41 points, which is quite solid. And this time we are in Austria, and as always we are starting from the back of the grid. And here you can see the race strategy. We opt to go for the one stop, starting on the harder compound softs and finish on the super softs, which should be the fastest strategy. And as always we try to use slightly more fuel in order to be more aggressive and to push more. And here you could see my setup I will run, and it's also the setup I used in AOR season 14. But here we are now for the race, 5 red lights and lights out, and away we go. It seems that we got a decent start off the line despite our harder compound of tires, and we try to look for the inside, but it's very tight there, and the outside line is quite solid there as well. And we were able to get the first position of the start, and the second one follows immediately on the straight, and the third one into the hairpin, and I think it's even 3, but we should get quite a solid run out of the hairpin. We got squeezed slightly onto the right, but our straight line speed is quicker compared to Alonso's in the McLaren, and we are already side by side with Stoffel van Dorn, but we weren't really able to make the move just yet, so we have to be cautious and think of another point of the track to overtake. And here we are now on the start finish straight. He went defensive, so we take the outside line, and he broke really late, which compromised the start line. And here we are now on the second straight. We are side by side and our straight line speed is quite solid, and we immediately go for the right, the inside line of the Haas, and we squeezed him slightly onto the curb so he doesn't get too good traction, and we were able to get the position as well, which is quite solid. And yeah, next up ahead is Williams, who is on the super soft tires, so let's see how our tires will develop against his. And we try to brake outside the slipstream to have better downforce on the braking, and we were able to get quite a solid run. And again we went for the outside line, and he is still on our inside, so we have to leave him the space. We try to go through the outside, and it seems that it worked quite well, and we are now into P13 behind Felipe Massa. And yeah, let's see whether we can get a good run out of the last corner, and it seems to be the case, so we might be able to attack him onto the straight. At this point we already have the DRS, and we were able to make the position stick, and with every following lap, as always, we will have better tires because they are harder, and harder compounds develop better over a longer stint. And here we are now. We were able to make the position stick on Nico Hülkenberg, who we managed to overtake on the straight. And here you can see there's a slight train in front of us, so we try to get a good run out of the hairpin, or get as much traction as possible, and yeah, we managed to do so. And we are going now side by side on the straight. We try to brake really late in order to make 2 positions stick. You can see our teammate got squeezed, unfortunately, onto the curb, which dropped him a few positions. And here we are now behind the Force India of Ocon. There were yellow flags, which was the reason that we had to slow down slightly, but it seems to be clear, so we can attack now, and we get closer on the straight. And he doesn't really defend the inside, but we weren't too close or close enough to make any kind of impression on him, so let's try it on the second straight. It seems that we got quite a solid run out of the first turn, and we also try to brake as late as possible and hang it around the outside, and we were able to make the position stick as well. And next up ahead is Danny Kvyat. You can see we managed quite a solid run out the last corner, and he went defensive, which makes things very interesting because we have to brake really late and still give him a slight bit of room, which we did. And now we are in P5 behind Grosjean. We tried to brake as late as possible, but without compromising our line, and we are now right in his slipstream. We don't gain that much, which indicates that he is running less wings probably, and his Ferrari engine should help as well. But at the end we were able to make the position stick. We are already in P12 at that point, and his tires should be quite worn. And here we are now in lap 14. I think a lot of the guys, or 15, sorry, a lot of the guys went already into the pits, and here you can see Lewis Hamilton was right behind us. He started catching us quite rapidly, and unfortunately we ran wide slightly in this corner, and we tried to defend from Lewis, but he just sends it around the outside, which was quite an amazing move. And at this point we had dirt on the tires, which didn't really help as well. We ran wide and lost traction, which is not good. So yeah, we lost a few tenths over there, and next up behind was Sebastian. He was on ultra soft, so I think he did a 2-stop, and at this point he was catching us quite rapidly, but I think a few laps later his tires already start to degrade quite a lot, and the pace was evenly matched. And yeah, here you can see the gaps. Lewis was basically extending the gap because his tires were much fresher, and in lap 21 we decided to do our one and only stop onto the super softs, and it will be quite interesting where we come out, because yeah, there are quite a lot of fast guys around us. So yeah, let's see how our pit stop is. And we're braking, and seems unfortunately that we got held by Sebastian, and we are going out of the pits. Let's see, we are currently in P3, and it seems that yeah, we stay there with Bottas ahead and Vettel behind. And at this point we try to push as much as possible, because you can see Sebastian was closing us slightly, and so we had to push even more, and we were able to improve our lap times quite drastically. And unfortunately at this point we started to do slight mistakes. We ran wide in turn 1 a few times, and I think we got 2 penalties at this point. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I knew that we had to fight even more now, because yeah, we had to overtake Bottas, and we had to get a gap which would be big enough. But here you can see Lewis Hamilton was out of the race, which was really surprising to me, and it will drop him quite a lot in the driver's title. And here you can see we closed the gap to Bottas. I think it was 9 seconds at the beginning of the stint, but we were able to catch him due to our better tires and softer tires as well. So yeah, let's see how close we can get. We don't really gain too much time on the straights, which is quite normal since we are in a Red Bull and he's in a Merc. So we try to get a solid run out of the hairpin, and let's see, are we able to make any kind of impression. We just go for the dive. We lock up slightly, but I think it was fine, and we were able to make the move stick as well. So we are up into P1, but at this point, as I said earlier, we had 2 penalties, so we had to get a gap of over 6 seconds in order to keep the lead. And at this point both Sebastian and Bottas were way too quick for that. They managed to stay in my DRS, and yeah, so we get P3 at the end, which is also quite a solid result and another podium. And yeah, here you can see the final results. We got the 6-second penalty. Bottas was able to win the race which should help him in the driver's title as well. And here you can see the points. We are leading by just over, I think, 38 points, which is quite sizable, but a lot of races still to go. And in terms of constructors, we are leading by just 4 points, which is really not enough. And yeah, Mercedes are also starting to catch us, which should make things quite interesting. And that was basically the race. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.